care of myself, to be quite honest, I'm sharing.
It's actually 9:01. So I'm gonna call this meeting of the Glades County School Board to order and ask you to please stand. Invocation will be led by Mr. Lucky and the pledge by Mrs. Drake.
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for today, and I thank you for our beautiful county, Glades County. We feel it's a privilege to live here. We thank you, Lord, for the responsibilities that each one of us have here, and we thank you for the burden that you've laid on our heart for such. Lord, we ask that you use us and you guide us in our decision making, and Lord, in your word it says if a person asks for wisdom, you will grant it. We pray for wisdom for our decisions. And Lord, let me thank you for each employee that's here and that's in our system that does what they need to do so that our children can have what's best for them. We thank you for all of this. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And seeing that we have no one in the audience from the community other than our employees, will dispense with the notice of meeting guidelines and move right on to item 2.1, approve the minutes of Glades County School Board Budget Workshop, April 23rd, 2026 at 3 p.m.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Drake, second by Mr. Lucky. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? 2.2, approve the minutes of the Glades County School Board regular meeting of April 23rd, 2026 at 4:30 p.m. We have a motion to approve. Second. Motion by Mr. Lucky, second by Ms. Drake. Any discussion?
I did the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you get that, Carl? That was
Yes.
motion by Ms. Pierce and second by Ms. Drake. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All in favor. All right, we're gonna move down to, 3.1, presentation of the Glades County School Board Cigna 2025 year-end review.
She's actually
That's
gonna,
Dr. Malay.
yeah, she's actually gonna be here at 9:30, the way their meeting worked out with their travel, so if it's okay with you, maybe we can go through some other business and come right back to that.
Do we need a motion to move that to later in the
I think
meeting?
so. I move to amend the agenda to move item 3.1 down to the last item on the agenda.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Drake and second by Ms. Clement to move item 3.1 down to the final item on the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Item 4.1, update on new elementary school renovations. Mr. Gressett.
Sure thing. Actually, Ms. Clement asked a good question about signage for school zones, and that brings up what's happening at the elementary school. We had kind of a delay in adding some sidewalks to the new school. Our plan is to extend the sidewalk from the west end of the school board office all the way down to where the walking gate is on the southeast corner of the new school. That's why that gate was put in there. Also, an extension of the sidewalk that's on the west end of the school, which is on West Avenue, so that it actually connects to those apartments right there, so that if kids are walking on the sidewalk in the apartments, they can walk directly, they don't have to walk through the grass or on the road. There were some changes in our engineering group. New Lines is the ones that have been doing it. The person who was over that actually resigned in December. We brought in someone who moved out, and brought in someone else. So anyway, now we have we have drawings, but we need to take them to the city. I think Jonathan, Mike, and I are gonna go to the city and present them, because we want their blessing on putting these sidewalks. I would think that they would approve that very easily. I wouldn't have wanted 3 sidewalks. And that's all part of the budget, it's all been put in the budget. And when that happens, then the striping and the signage goes up with that. So that's what we're waiting for.
Could I just interject something real quick? So someone did call me about the road on the canal over there in front of the school, saying they were flying by and then they realized, oh my gosh, this is the school zone. So is that the signage you're talking about,
That's
school
correct.
zone, speed limit signs? I think we need to,
We're pushing it,
Expedited.
we're pushing it.
because this is not a person that calls me often about stuff, so.
As far as the old school's gone. They're just, there's very little, I think there's some pipes in the ground they're taking out, stuff like that, but it's pretty much just dirt. They're now raising the cafeteria, and that's in process as we are right now. As far as the renovations, the walls are up in the building, 9,000. They're putting texture up on the walls today, so next the painters will come. There's been a little bit of a slowdown, and that's because of transformer. And there's a lead time for those transformers, it's a long time. The transformer is actually supposed to be here tomorrow, and we'll start setting that up. Once we have the transformer, then we can get the air conditioning. We have the air conditioning, then the flooring people, the ceiling tile people, they can follow behind, all those different things can happen. So, I've actually pushed out furniture from, it wasn't even 26th to the second week of June, so we're about 2 or 3 weeks behind than what we wanted to do, but that's all because of the transformer. But that's where we are with the new school. Questions on that?
When will we be able to get a tour of that renovated building?
I would think maybe when you want to have air conditioning, you want air conditioning, or you want,
Yeah, that would be nice.
right now, I wouldn't do a tour only because of safety reasons. They've been digging a lot of deep holes to lay fiber optics lines in, all the power lines and stuff like that. So, maybe the next board meeting, how about that?
Add that to our facility walkthrough whenever we have our
Yeah,
facility.
when is it, I'm not sure when Carla, you know, our next board meeting is? June?
It is the May 21st.
And that's an afternoon meeting.
That's my first.
We'll try to do that. I don't know if I'll have air conditioning, but walls will be textured and not be painted by then, so you know.
Just anxious to see what it looks
Oh,
like.
absolutely, yeah, I know that, I understand.
Any other questions for Mr. Garza? Comments? Okay, let's move on to item 5.1, Glades County Expense Report and Estimated Budget for May and June 2026. This was submitted by Dr. Warfield. She's not here. Are you who's presenting this? Anybody? No?
I think this was a discussion and, just.
Right, it's not anything for approval. So we don't have anybody presenting. Does anybody have any discussion or comments they want to make? Yes.
I do have a couple questions on I know we have to have everything presented to the state. Do we have a timeline of how long that may take? Some of the invoices are overdue, and I'm just curious how long. I mean, they know we're waiting on the state, but do we know what the process looks like?
Well, that's a great question, because we were just talking about that this morning. We as a group right now, we are unsure as to what exactly they need to approve, what we can go ahead and send through. From discussion that I was a part of with you guys, it sounded as though that, you know, things that were just the everyday things to keep the school going, whether if they needed, you know, some kind of cleaning products or some kind of toilet paper, or paper towels, those kinds of things that we could approve those kinds of things. Other items outside of that scope that they would approve, well, we're not sure where that line is. There's a lot of gray areas in there, so I think in what we talked about this morning is during the time where we have a chance to ask some questions, that we can get a little bit more insight on exactly, what items they're looking for. Because we have some things, not only on that list that you're talking about that need to be approved, but also some emergency items that, like, the water plant out at West Glades, there's a part that's bad, and it's causing a lack of water pressure, which is, we have terrible water pressure out there anyway, and that could be a terrible thing, if we were to lose water out there. Also, I know Mr. Tompkins talked about the AC units at high school, that's an emergency type thing too. We're waiting on approval for that so that we can move forward. So I guess, by tomorrow, maybe we'll get some answers for that.
Are we at least communicating with everybody that we're doing business with, and that we owe invoices or money to, that this is the situation, so that they are aware of timing on payments?
That I don't know the answer to.
Yeah.
Can we please ask that at least communication is being made, so that we don't look like we're intentionally not
Sure.
on time?
Yeah, that's not really changed, like anything that we have to do for safety, for a normal run of business, it'd be anything unusual. And they just started, meeting with them, so they're kind of becoming more familiar, but if I recall the letter there was a exclusion about normal day-to-day safety types things, but they're asking questions, they wanna make sure we're fiscally sound, safe and all that, so,
I think Ms. Flynn was talking about, there's a list of things that are still
Yes, sir.
out there
So,
that haven't been paid.
One is like,
Some of the invoices that are to be paid, that it says it needs state approval, I just wanna make sure any of our vendors that we're using understands that we're not intentionally not paying them on time, several of them are overdue. I just wanna make sure too that there's communication with each and every one of them, that they understand this is the situation we're in and they will be paid, but that it's communicated.
We had a discussion because there was a lot of confusion, so we did make it clear that any normal operating procedures that we've been doing throughout the year, we do pay them. The state just wants to know what we're doing. It doesn't necessarily need approval on everyday things, but something like Mr. Gressel was explaining, yes, it does need approval. That was a big confusion, but we got it all straight with our finance department, our purchasing department. So they're in the process of adding the funding to the strings, so that way those things can get paid as soon as possible.
Okay, so I'm just gonna pull out one of the people that, we're gonna say Stonewall Towing, because we know that everything we're using them for, we're getting reimbursed for payment. So that's not anything on us, and their bill is overdue. So there's several other ones, so I wanna make sure that these are small businesses that rely on their operations to continue going. I wanna make sure that we're still continuing to have communications with the business owner that is, they're providing these services to make sure that they get paid on a timely manner. As this one is not, that's no money on us, that's being reimbursed through the electric bus company.
Yeah, and that was the situation, Mr. Grexel was in the little conversation we had. It was a confusion that the state needed to approve those type of things, and it was kinda on hold, and then I kinda was like, well, it shouldn't be because it's something that we do on the normal, so we got that cleared up, that normal operations that we've been doing at the district needs to be sent to the state, but necessarily doesn't need to be approved because it's normal operation. So that has been cleared, and our purchasing department, should be on that and getting these things paid.
Okay, so let me just ask this question, who is going to call these companies and let them know that this is the situation we're in, they will be paid, so that they understand the payment, and it's not these companies saying, well, Glades County is overdue and they're not paying, just so the verbiage can be there in
sure.
communication.
We could reach out, I'm not aware.
Or, I can
Finance
have,
department should be doing that.
yeah, I can have, the purchasing
And they may
department.
have already done it.
Yes.
That's my question, is asking, has
Ms.
it,
Clement is asked, I'm sorry.
no, you're
Ms. Clement.
good, yes,
I think what she's asking, let's just say that, we bought pizzas from Joey's Pizza.
Yes, ma'am.
And we hadn't paid that bill and it's overdue. Is somebody contacting Joey's Pizza and saying, this is the situation we're in, we are going to pay you, we're sorry it's overdue? You know,
After,
so that we keep that relationship with them going.
after last week's conversation and the air was cleared, I'm assuming that that has happened. I will double check with the purchasing department and I'll get an answer for you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I think there's very few, because we pretty much transact most business, but.
Well, there's a list of them, there's,
We have a list.
Yeah.
they have a list.
Yeah.
And Ms. Carla can get that to you too, if that's the question.
Also, on some of them, the problem with Amazon is there's a problem with the account. And we're trying to get some, because I've asked about these.
Yes.
They're trying to get some things cleared up with Amazon because they didn't credit to it and things. The individual schools have Amazon accounts. So what happens is sometimes we'll send a payment and they'll take our payment and they will credit it to the school. So then they keep telling us where payment is due. So I know that's the problem with Amazon. I have no idea what's wrong with Granger. I had asked them yesterday about that, because Worth was at training at, Heck about finance today, that's why she's not here. But that is something also to do with payments, where we've been billed and then they gave us credits, but it's not matching up, so then we can't go ahead. And they are working on the one in Granger, because it looks really bad. I also asked about the overhead doors. That one was due in March, and there's something to do with the billing on that one too. It's just a matter, it's not like, and the, Stonewall, it was due, April 12th, and I think that was just one of those that was, we were waiting on the state to say, and then they told us in that. From 4/12 to 5/1, because this is from 5/1 to 5/7 that we're sending. So most of them are just, it doesn't look good, but there's a reason behind it.
I wanted to make sure that we understood that there was conversations with these businesses that were,
Like I said, there's only like 4, I think, that are overdue, the rest are just pending for payment. And that was just, the 4 that are overdue, I found out, but I usually give you the notes and stuff on that. Dr. Barfield was gonna have those notes.
or even as moving forward and there's vendors that we're working with, just let them know we are under this situation. The payment process looks a little bit different. Please, if this is something that doesn't work for your company, we may have to find someone else. If that's something that they can't work with, just making sure that there's clear communication on the services they're providing in our time.
I'll get that from her and I'll get it to you.
And I'm not picking on anyone, I
No, no.
just sincerely want to make sure that there's communication and understanding.
I'll get that for you.
We want to keep a good relationship with our vendors.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
That's the exact one that I noticed last night.
So any other discussion on the expense report and estimated budget?
So Madam Chairman,
Yes.
I was questioning the towing thing and wrote down, wasn't that part of our lease? So thank you for bringing that out so that, so we pay the towing company and then get reimbursed.
Yes.
Okay. And that, because I thought that was part of our lease that we need to do that. And I remember there was issue finding someone that would tow the electric bus. So I think what Ms. Clement is saying is important, because if that company gets aggravated with us, then they may not come the next time we come, because there's not a whole bunch of companies that want to do that. So I agree with Ms. Clement on everything. Mr. Lucky had asked a question, and I don't know if maybe you got your answer pre-meeting. I just wanted to hear the answer to the contract with Mr. Brown. Were y'all discussing that, or?
Yes.
I'd like to hear that.
Is it time?
Yeah, it's fine.
Well, we're talking about the budget, and that was on there.
Okay,
You want to respond to it, Mr. Thomas?
Yes, good morning. We contract with Mr. Brown to do water quality testing and like light maintenance of some of our water facilities around here. He has to be trained, he has to have certification, and he goes to the health departments, specifically in LaBelle, to get the water tested. We then have to report all that stuff to the state. It's a significant amount of work. That's what we contract with him for. We've been doing it for a long time. And so that cost is basically what it costs us to keep in compliance with the health department for our water quality.
Right, and I was just wondering, is Rayon gonna get those certifications? And when Mr. Brown did it, when he was an employee, did he just do it as part of his regular job? You probably don't know.
No, he does
We got
supplement,
something.
he does supplements for that.
Okay, Okay, so it's not an expectation for the current maintenance person to get that certification?
Not currently, no.
Okay,
Well, I think they should, because
well, it saves
Al's not
money.
gonna be, well, Al's getting older, he's not gonna be able to do it forever, so we need somebody to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, as we discussed before the meeting, if we put that out for bid to get someone else to do it, it would be a lot more expensive than what Mr. Brown is charging us. But regardless if Rayon gets his certification or not, that would not save us money because we would still pay Rayon the software. It's above and beyond the job of maintenance rate.
In the past, whenever we looked to see what a provider would cost to do what he's doing, and it was like $10,000. It was expensive. It was really expensive because they're not local, they have to come here to do that.
Well, I was hoping it could become part of the job description.
I don't see that
No, it's a
happening.
supplement.
You can hope, Mr. Bell. It's
Well,
quite
sometimes call for tough
consuming.
decisions, that's why my brain went there. There's a way to save.
But I believe Ms. Pierce, you have a great point, that we should have someone available, maybe even talk to Rand about getting the certifications and offering them supplement, something we can look into.
But we love Al Brown.
Yes, we do.
Get that on
We need
record.
somebody able to,
Take over.
exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
That was all I had.
Okay, any other comments on expense report and estimated budget? I wanna make a comment, I thought about it a while ago, and then I forgot and I remembered again, about the bus towing. We have the buses towed to their facility to have them repaired when there's a problem. Haven't we discussed before that we have someone on our staff who is certified to work on those buses, and why will they not let us do that?
It is interesting you brought that up because that conversation was had with the parent company Cummins Diesel regarding this very thing, I guess Cummins Electric. They are proprietary. They are quite adamant that our mechanic not diagnose their problems. It then necessitates a trip to have a bus towed to West Palm Beach. We're not happy with this, so Highlands Electric and I had a discussion Wednesday or Tuesday, and there is a mobile group that is a Cummins repair facility, but they do it mobile, which means they would come here out of Fort Myers, but they need the certification to work on EV buses. We've asked them to get that certification so that we can start using them, and that they can come here. That will be just less expensive for the Highlands Electric fleet, and it will be less downtime for us. So we are at the state of right now, they need to get their certifications, could be a 6-month process, but then we'll probably need to switch.
And then it would prohibit people from saying, oh, look at that e-bus being towed.
You mean when they take it over the bridge and everybody sees it? Yes,
Exactly.
we did that.
I mean, there may be still be a time they have to tow it where something happens.
But it should be far less
It's very
frequent.
important back here,
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other comments or questions?
but we're fortunate that, I mean, we have a mechanic who's actually certified and working on electric buses, but they don't let him work on it.
It's a bit
He's actually
surprising.
diagnosed for them, but they really don't listen
That's
to him.
crazy.
They do it themselves.
I think that's crazy.
Are they the ones
Because
wanting to
it
put
was-
a, container on our property to store parts?
Well, I don't know what's ever happened with that discussion.
Well, that was actually Highlands Electric Fleet that wanted to provide us with part storage, and as it turns out, for a couple of reasons, one including the supply chain is being very wonky. They're backing off on wanting to have that storage facility. It would absolutely make our main problems go away quite a bit. Didn't happen. If they just let me run everything, it would work better.
It would. It would. Okay, moving on to item 6.1, public comment on agenda items. I believe we have one here that's completed a form to do that. And item 7.1 through 7.4 are consent agenda items. I'll entertain a motion. Well, first I'll ask if any of those need to be pulled.
I'd like to pull 7.1.
Okay.
I'd like to pull 7.4.
I better write that down or I'll forget it. 7.1 and 7.4. Any others to pull? So I'll entertain a motion to approve 7.2 and 7.3.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Pierce, second by Ms. Drake. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. That was unanimous.
Yes.
Now that Mr. Lucky got his eye in there. Okay, let's go back up to 7.1, approval of changes in human resources, hires, resignations, transfers, and/or supplements. I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Clement, second by Ms. Drake. Ms. Clement, you have some questions or discussion?
Yes, ma'am, so, the situation we're in right now, everybody completely understands. The, last one on there was one of our principals resigning. I just wanna say how thankful I am for every single one of these, individuals that gave so much of their time and effort to our district. And Mr. Malay, this question is for you. We have asked that everybody that is resigning or, is non-renewed in the past, that we give them an exit interview if they would participate. And so I'm just bringing this up and pulling it for this conversation to ask if we can please make sure everybody has that opportunity.
Yeah, we'll make sure that happens, sure, we'll reach out. All of them, of course, critical board member, Ms. Wills, the principal at Westway's been here for some time. Highly involved in her church, it's just a great time in her life, so I just kind of conveyed that, we'll have more conversation about that, but, certainly proud of the work that she and all of the ones have done as well, so.
Madam Chairman.
Yes, Ms. Drake.
Dr. Malay, we have asked for those exit interviews. Do you know if that's been done in the past? Did anyone mention that to you in the transfer?
No, to be honest, but,
And not necessarily for the board's eyes, but
Absolutely.
for district administration to look for commonalities and possibly find problems that could be addressed and corrected. 'Cause
sure,
right now, we're not worried about losing people because we unfortunately have to, but there have been times when it's been difficult for us to hire people here to get them to wanna come to our district because we're remote and everything. So I think the exit interview would be an excellent thing to add to our human resource data bank.
we'll make sure, I can assure you though, like 14 of that list, those were non-renewed, so they kind of understood that there would be some changes there. And then a few of the others that resigned, they're actually like going out of town, like they're moving to family. So like there may be a conversation, but not necessarily that as rounded, so some of them just made sense, like they're moving back to parents, but starting to take note of that, and make sure that we'll check that box. And there are a few that have happened, on this that are still continuing, that we just can't get them all on, so you'll have them at your next meeting, we're continuing to make progress. So your point's noted.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Alright, moving to item 7.4, approval of the Glades County School District Summer School Program, June 2nd through 25th, 2026. Ms. Drake?
Well, I'll make a motion to approve first.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Drake, second by Ms. Pierce. Ms. Clement? I'm sorry.
Okay.
I do have my hearing aids in.
So the question I have is, I don't know a lot about summer school programs. And I know we have to provide it for some of our ESE students, it is a requirement. And so I guess my question is the summer school that we're providing, other than the online portion, is that paid for by our IDEA grant money, or will that be coming out of the grant fund?
Sure, there's a portion of, I could say both, only because depending on some of the staff members that, we have to depend on how they're salaried. The majority of our, ESC, salaries go to our assistants, and then also, some of the different district staff that we have to use, we just don't quite get enough money, so it kind of depends on, honestly, the people that are chosen, but, it'll be a mix of both, we'll make sure that's clear.
So some is gonna be with the ESE grant funds, some is gonna come out of general fund.
Yes.
And are we required, so is this open to any student that wants to attend? I see the third grade summer reading camp, those are students who didn't pass the test. So are we mandated to provide that summer school?
We're mandated to provide ESY, so maybe some students, based on attendance, maybe lack of progress they made in the classroom, say with an IEP, we have to offer services. Now, they don't have to participate, but we do have to offer that, so that portion, yes. Anytime there's, students that may not be able to go into the next grade, particularly like that primary, if we can catch them up, we want to.
Yes.
The parents on board, of course. Sometimes it's maturity issues and the parents in agreement that, that type of thing, so, it's a little bit of, well, we make sure like the extended school year, we have, if a child hasn't made the progress, and I don't put any of that on them, it could be a factor of just situation, it could be attendance, it could be some of our, special needs students have health issues. So if they're just not making the progress that we had thought when we developed the IEP, we offer those services, so.
So they may not necessarily attend, but we have to offer it to them.
Correct,
Okay,
correct, we make offer.
so the VPK Summer Bridge, what is that, and where's that funding come from?
I'll have to kind of check, because that program is new to me. If you would like to speak to that, I know just very general, so I'll let you give them
The
that.
VPK program is if it's a necessity, so Ms. Mullins is kind of monitoring the children that may qualify for that. It's not guaranteed that we'll need that at all, because her and I have been communicating about that portion because people do want to know if their child has to go to that. For the ESY program, we do reach out to every parent that kind of seemed interested. We have about 10, and there's a returning student that is going to also be participating in that. And it is not necessarily if they haven't shown growth, but if they're going to show significant regression during the summer, that we really target those students to come to that program. But they don't have to participate, but we have to provide it.
Right, and so part of the IDEA grant is used to fund the teachers
Yes, ma'am.
that we hire for the ESY.
Yes, ma'am, because they're still required by their IEP to receive their therapies during ESY such as OT, PT,
Okay.
speech and language.
And the VPK Summer Bridge, is that for ingoing students for VPK, and is that for ESE, and is that funded with IDEA?
It's VPK only, and it's the bridge from the, leaving VPK to kinder. So it's only those VPKs.
So you would identify kids that maybe you felt weren't ready for kinder, IEP or not, doesn't matter.
That's right.
And you would target those children to put in the summer to better prepare them for kindergarten.
Yes, but there's a metric that is used to determine if they need to go in that program or if we even need to have it. I just don't know what that metric is.
Okay. And if there were students with IEPs in that program, would we get some grant funding for that portion too? You understand where I'm coming
Yes.
from, right? This is-
Yes, ma'am.
This is strictly a fiscal question.
Yes, so
Right.
ESY
These are great
is-
programs, and I think we've always done them all just as a no-brainer, right? But when we're in the position we're in, we've gotta look at every program and decide, if we're mandated, of course, we gotta do it, but we
So-
know not all mandates are funded, but some are.
So the children that usually go into ESY are the ones that have the higher level of cognitive concern and are going to absolutely show the most regression. The VPK metric can target the children that are like language or speech only, and they can also still continue to receive those services in that program. But again, I just don't know what the metric is for that 4-year-old going into kindergarten. and Ms. Mullins isn't here to give that.
So I don't mean to, drag this out, but I'm just saying.
No, I just don't wanna speak on
No.
something I truly don't know everything about, but the ESY I do know about.
Right, so I guess my question, to be more concise, is how much of this is covered by the ESC grant? And how much is coming out of general fund for all these programs? Because fiscal impact says budgeted. So,
So if they're a child that has an IEP, it will come out of the IDA grant. If they're if they're just VPK, that's a different funding source. I don't know what that is.
okay, so
And you're,
we need more information than budgeted, like how much?
sure, and your concerns kind of noted, that's part of this review process that we're going through, because we wanna make sure, just like how our special education funds are used, you only get so big a pie, but the need is much bigger. So right now, the majority of our funds that we get do a lot of pairs to get more hands in, and then it does a lot of our extra services like our OT, our PT, some of those different people that do services. No district's fund is fully for all of it, you kind of have that unmet need, and you have to make sure you're not reducing, so, your point's well made, and, we are pretty much doing only what's required, and changing some different habits, so I appreciate I get where you're at.
I have a couple of, I have a couple of questions. Do we still get SAI, Supplemental Academic Instruction Funds?
Not to my knowledge on that, but they could be called something maybe I haven't uncovered, so I don't.
At one point, we got a chunk of money designated for supplemental academic instruction, SAI funds, which would have been used for summer school and other supplemental academic instruction like tutoring, after-school programs, that kind of thing. So if we get that, that would, I think, if there's any of it left, would be used for summer school. And then the other thing is, we do get FTE for summer school, correct?
Yes, we
So-
do a certain.
These kids that come to summer, we're not just paying them out of general fund and not getting any money back. They do generate FTE.
Yes, there are funds that we use, I mean, it's not, we have to have a reason to make sure they're there, like, it's appropriate for their IEP, we're not just offering above and beyond, we're offering free and appropriate public, so what is needed for them to make progress, so, yes, you are right.
The third grade reading, summer reading camp, that's not at ESE students, that's for
No.
all students who have
That's
a
right.
reading deficiency. We get FTE for them, and if we get SAI money, that can be used also to pay for that program.
I'll confirm that.
AI says that they do still give it. And it's in our FEFP funds. But it does say priorities are given to schools, DNF schools. So,
Sometimes it's such a part, a small part of the big puzzle, I'll have to.
I think that, I think, I could be wrong, that every district gets the SAI money, but if you're a district that has, if we had two A and C schools and an F school, then it would have to target that F school.
Right,
But we still get the money, I'm pretty sure, but you
I'm
can
gonna-
confirm that.
research that for you.
Mrs. Drake, Melinda just shared with me that the ESE the ESE teacher that is interested in doing the ESY program is general fund, she's not under IDA. But the therapists are under IDA.
Do we get bigger FTE for those students?
Yes, we do.
So even though the teacher's not paid directly,
We get
it does
additional funds.
generate more money.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to comment based on the way, some questions or comments were addressed. When it comes to those ESE students that require more, and I did hear it from you, we need to be very proactive in getting them to come. Because it's already been determined that their disability is such that they lose, and she used a different word, but they lose a lot more of their knowledge over the summer than other kids. So we want to be very proactive to get that child, because remember, when we offer summer school, it's usually only June. So they're still going to be out a whole month with that. But anyway, I heard that from you.
Yes.
But yes, we want to be proactive no matter what the money situation is, because that's 3 steps back, 2 steps forward. If
And
we
we
don't.
may have a parent that in May or at the meeting said they weren't interested, but we do call every parent again to say, we're offering this, are you interested? And they may change their mind.
Right.
So, but we are reaching out, the therapists are reaching out to see who has interest, and we are amending IEPs and putting it into Skyward so we get the correct funding for that program.
Every year you guys have a good.
We do have a good turnout for ESY every year.
The extended school year always has a good turnout.
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
I have another question for Melinda. So can you, well, it's not you, is it? It's Orpha. So what we need to do is see what the balance is in our SAI fund. And then we'll know if we can afford summer school or not. Like, we've already spent it all, because I'm reading the list. You can spend it on those after-school things we did, the tutoring programs. There's a lot of things you can spend it on. If we've already spent it,
But
but if
if,
there's a big chunk still sitting there, then we can afford summer school.
if summer school was added, and Mayor, Mr. can stop me if I'm wrong. If summer school was added in the budget that Mr. Rayblaw revised, then that particular funding is there for that summer school teacher,
Oh, we need to
regardless of
verify
who
that.
it is.
Someone needs to verify that.
Because grants,
There's a lot of questions, these are all great questions, I'm glad they're coming out, that people are writing down, good, but, you know, we're not gonna be able to give you estimates probably until the next board meeting, 'cause we don't know how many 3rd grade students that we're gonna even offer that to, or how many, I think we have kind of an idea how many ESY kids are coming.
Yeah, we're gonna have 10 to 15.
But, and I think that would give them ample time to figure out, really, do we have any money left in the IDEA grant where that money would actually go towards summer school, or has all that been spent already? I think those are all good questions, and I think we should be able to come up with a budget with that.
Yeah.
I would hope that we
And
do
can we
that.
wait until the next meeting? Or
Well, I
would that be too late to get these things in motion?
Well, I think we're gonna need to get them in motion.
Yeah.
you know.
So we're approving something we don't know that we can afford.
I think,
We have to figure it
Yeah,
out.
we've been in a lot, but I mean,
Yeah, we have to
we don't
provide,
wanna keep getting
we
in
have to
there.
provide services where you show
Yeah, well, we
that
can
are not-
approve just the requirements.
And that's pretty much what we're looking at with the programs. I
The
think.
3rd grade is not required, the credit recovery is not required, the PPK summer bridge is not required.
well, credit recovery for, that's a virtual program.
Right.
That's just for the courses, I mean, that, we don't pay for teachers, so I don't think there's gonna be much of an expense there.
And Katie's doing that this year. There will not be a teacher at the high school doing that this year.
Yeah,
It's
she's-
all
yeah.
virtual.
And she's already on staff.
So that won't cost
Right.
us, except for the cost of the courses. And we will get reimbursed if they pass the courses.
Right, so really you're just talking about the 3rd grade, that's the big question mark.
And the PPK, that's not required.
I texted Ms. Mullins and asked her if she had anybody that was going to need that program. She hasn't responded, but I think she's on Pacific time still.
Yeah.
So, once I get an answer, I'll let you know.
I mean, you can, I guess you could table this, or you can amend your,
Can I say something?
Yeah.
On the VPK, that is, the bridge is only for students who have not passed a certain percentage of their test for VPK. It also goes by, if they've missed too many days, there's a matrix. We have never had enough kids, because I think you have to have 4 or 5 kids to run that program, and we haven't. The other part of that bridge is if a student did not get VPK and as a 4-year-old and they're going into kindergarten, we have to offer it by law to those kids that didn't get those hours. But once again, you have to have enough kids to fund that, and we've never had that in the past to do that.
So we've never had this program.
Last
But
year
we
was
have
one
to put it
student.
out there.
They didn't have it last year for one student, and Ms. Mullins just replied, she says, as of now, there are no students that qualify. We still have 2 weeks left to complete their test. that even if I have no kids doing it, I will still fill out the grant and all the paperwork, because you have to fill that out.
And we have to,
It's been a hit and miss. I know there have been some years we have had it at the elementary, and then other years where we didn't have enough students to have it.
we have to prove it at this time just so that we'll be able to do it. If it's
Yeah. Yes.
And keep in mind too, sorry, Mr. Lookie, teachers, when they go into summer school, it's not contracted because it's out of their contracted time, and it's hourly, so it's a huge difference. It's not like a big, it's not like a big salary, you would say. It's just, and summer school is Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday, 8 to 1.
Yeah, so it's different. I mean, again, it's probably in the budget, maybe they can look at it and see. But it's kind of different. I can show you somewhere from last year if that would be for that.
There's other things involved too. Transportation has to be in the budget as well.
Yeah.
All right, so can I amend my motion, Madam Chair?
If you want to.
Okay, I'd like to amend my budget to say that I move to approve the Glades County School District Summer School Program, June 2nd through the 25th, 2026. If it is verified, it has been budgeted. Upon the verification of it being budgeted, properly budgeted.
That makes it impossible for us to vote, Crystal.
That means if they go back and verify that it's in that budget that we were given, then they go forward. If it wasn't budgeted, then we're spending money that is gonna put us further in the hole.
That we have to do, that we have to offer.
I
You
was-
don't have a choice.
Yeah, if I could just interject, just like tomorrow, we'll be meeting with some representatives of the state that are looking at all of our personnel. So they're quite astute on what we have, some things, whether you have money or not, I know that sounds strange, but
It's
in the public, you have to provide it. And
I
then you're trying to
understand,
figure
and
out
part of this is
Yes, ma'am.
required, I get that.
Yes, so, I do note your point, but I also offer that, we've made nearly $1 million or more, and last year, there was over $1 million in reductions and things, and we've done the same, the numbers are just settling. So it takes a while when you do look at the year on your cash flow. I have no doubt that we're gonna be in a very good position as we start moving through. As when you looked at like the personnel report and you saw about like 18 names, and I know there's probably 3 or 4 more that weren't just timing that aren't on there, so you're gonna have a few more this coming month. So all that different payroll, it's gonna start, July, August. That's when we start realizing the change, but I can assure you, we're only doing what's required. So I know what you're concerned, but I'm also can share, I think you can feel safe in where we're at, because we're with oversight right now. I mean, our committee, they care about our school, they realize what we're doing, they like our programs, and they're proud of our grades, so they're helping us kind of carve instead of just cut. We don't wanna do more than what we have to, but, because we wanna maintain that overall aid.
And,
Yeah, I mean, we wanna do that, we're proud of it, so.
and this program right here is a big help.
Sure, and if there's any comfort, I just say we meet like weekly with them, so they are studying everything, so I think your concerns are happening. Maybe we're not, they're not part of all those meetings, but they're pretty intense and they go on for 4 or 5 hours at a time, so they're looking at everything, so that helps you understand. I would feel comfortable with that.
Okay, so I want to make sure we're doing this the right way. We had a motion to approve. And now Ms. Drake has made a motion to amend her motion. We have to have a second for that motion to amend.
We
And I
have to
have
vote on
not
the
heard a
amendment.
second.
We have to vote on the amendment.
We have to have a second before we can vote
Okay,
on
I'll
the
second.
amendment, and I have not heard a second.
I'll second.
Okay, so now we have to vote on the amendment. We're voting now
I think,
to amend go ahead.
I don't think Ms. Pierce wants to second it. I don't think she understood, because you're not for my motion, right?
Because I'm fixing to vote no. It has to be
But if
seconded.
if no one seconds it,
Then it dies
and we're back at the
for-
original
I know I was
motion.
gonna vote no too.
Okay, so that dies as for a lack of
Yes.
second, so we're
Yes.
back to the original
Yes.
motion, which is to approve the Glades County School District Summer School Program, June 2nd through 25th, as presented, with the understanding that some of these programs will not have enough students to to have the
To start.
program, correct?
Yes.
And we had a motion and a second, so we're ready to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
I voted aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so it was unanimous. You
Yes.
didn't vote aye on the opposed section.
No, I don't think you called for that, yes.
Okay.
I still have I have a question, but it doesn't affect that, it just affects something that was said.
What?
Well, I wanna make sure I understood what Carla said, that if a child is going into kindergarten and that child has not had VPK the preceding year, we have to at least offer it. Did I hear you say that?
But we very seldom get any kids that, we, one year, probably 5 years ago, we had probably 5 kids and we did have it.
Okay, how do we even target those children?
We have to.
We don't even know
Or they
that-
go into the school and tell us.
Okay.
Yeah. Or
Okay, so
they'll
that's
try
when the
to
responsibility, because I'm wondering, when does the responsibility begin? Because a lot of times those kids that have never had VBK, their parents are showing up 1 week before school to register them. Okay,
Right.
gotcha. That's it,
There's a
thank you.
coalition, they go to the coalition and they'll
Right.
ask for it and then they let us know, they bring our the voucher. But it's probably been 5 years since
Yeah.
we've had it.
I understand completely now, but I needed clarity on that, thank you.
Yep, let's move on.
Oh,
We're moving on. I'm sorry, did you have something?
just to clarify, that was pulled on.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. It was on her-
So we're moving on to action agenda. Item 8.1, approval of basic and voluntary student accident renewal. I need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Pierce, second by Ms. Clement. Any discussion?
I have a question. This is what parents, we just provide this and then parents pay for this, correct?
Oh.
Am I right? Is this the accident policy that we offer parents to buy for their kids, or is this something the district's buying?
The district provides this,
Okay.
because the liability that we could have is far greater than the smaller investment that we have. And it kind of saves us in many ways, but we did get the price down.
So
And
this
that's
is
what most
not
dis-
part of our general liability policy, this is extra,
It's over and beyond, yes. Yes, ma'am.
and we've always had this,
Yes, ma'am.
and you negotiated a price?
Yes, it was gonna be in the 20s, we got it down like $5,000 more this past year.
Because the emergency board was really looking at our health insurance. So I have a feeling they're gonna be looking at all of our insurances to make sure that we're not overinsured and that we're getting the best, bang for our buck
Sure.
on that.
This
So
was,
I thought this was, back in the day, we passed these things
Yeah.
out to parents and they bought supplemental insurance for their kid at school. That's what I thought this was, so.
yeah.
This is, we're paying for this. So the athletic, the portion for athletics, we're buying additional insurance for our athletes.
Yes, this kind of covers all of it, and it's almost like, imagine, if we didn't have this, our liability, if something happened to them on the playing field or at school, is so much higher, and this would cover it, so we wanna make sure. Yes, we wanna make sure, yes, that's covered, so yes, it's in our best interest, I guess, when you look at how it's all planned out.
So it might make our general liability cheaper because we have these. maybe?
Absolutely, all these types, and it kind of saves us, God forbid, from a lawsuit, something tragic happens, this kind of covers it.
So is this in place already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you had it, and when I did the history, I asked for 5 years, I looked back, and we actually had very few claims on it. We probably need to make sure it's used, but then when I looked, I don't remember if it was Carl or something, we have several, like if in doubt, we submit. Nothing may come of it, but we have a file, but there was just very, very few things, and we have a case right now, just like say, when they need a new school without getting into it, maybe an issue, and come to find out like that could be used, and that offsets some of the current liabilities that we have, to keep our premiums and things down, so many things happen with kids and.
Like a supplement to it.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed, thank you. Item 8.2, approval of the 5-year 25-26 work plan. Mr. Gretson, well, let's get a motion and second first.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Ms. Pierce, second by Ms. Drake. Okay, Mr. Gretson.
So the 5-year work plan is just a plan, it's not, it's a budget more or less that we're kind of estimating what our costs are gonna be out in the next 5 years. I worked with Mr. Thomas on this, included things like the chiller, some things like the, also the thing at the water plant at Westglades. When I actually did the work plan, I included a payback to the state, so over 5 years, we would do a payback for what we owe for our part for the new school and renovations and stuff like that. This could easily change, if we get funding from the state, like we're hoping for Westglades roofing and also for air conditioning. That would change numbers on here. If the state actually does decide to forego our repayment back to the state, that would change this whole plan as well. But really, this is just, we put some figures in there for what we thought were gonna be the numbers we were gonna need for, actually for this year, for next year, and for the next 3 years. It's just for us to be thinking about, what we wanna do now and into the future.
To maintain our equipment to run the things, but like air conditioning and stuff like that. I was gonna ask about that, the air conditioning that's going out, is that on our plan?
For the,
So we were expecting it anyway.
Yes.
I mean, it's general maintenance of all that, our big heavy
well, we
duties.
weren't expecting it, but we put it into this plan, yeah. I mean,
Well, we should have been
Yeah.
expecting it. Those are the kind of things that are supposed to be in the 5 and 10-year plans.
That's true.
Other questions, comments?
Madam Chairman?
Yes, Ms. Drake.
I noticed you put the revenue for the impact fees in there, which I thought was very good for positive thinking. I'm curious where you got that amount,
Actually, the state put that in there for us.
did they?
Yeah.
Because that's not a done deal, the county has not approved that
Okay.
yet, so. I mean, I like that it's there, I think it's high, but I hope they're right.
Yeah, but I thought we chose the highest.
We did, but
We
the
did.
county is not approved to impose impact fees yet. We simply told them, gave them input of what amount we wanted them to assess for the school district portion. But they have not voted yea or nay yet whether they can do it at all. I think they will, but. So I thought you were just being positive, like, oh, well, we're gonna get this and.
These are all just estimates, yeah.
Okay, and so, the special facilities payback, it looked like it was like over 6 million in there, and I thought it was 5 million. Like,
You're
where'd
right.
that come from?
So what happened is, I received something about a month ago about payback to the state. And when we first signed up for this whole thing, a few people that are on the board, you remember we signed a lot of pieces of paper about special facility, one of them was payback. And the payback was gonna be 1.5 mils over the next 3 years, which would have been 23, 24, 24, 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25. And we signed off on that, and that was gonna be 5.7 million. The state is now saying, since it's the time when we start construction, not the time that we did the application, although that's what they had us do as a board. And so they're saying that we have to pay back our millage from, our 1.5 mils from 23, 24, 24, 25, and 25, 26. And the difference in that is that the revenue generated from 1.5 mils this year was much more than it was 4 years ago, yeah.
So it was 6 point what?
What the total number is, it's at the very end of that. 6,771,126.
So it
And
went
that's
up,
still
went up
less-
$1 million, that's crazy.
That's still an estimate as well, because we really don't have our true numbers for the, our monies we got this year. I mean, we don't know for sure what the final 25-26 amount we receive for capital outlay, and also motor vehicle license money that we get.
It was 5.8, so it's really only like 250,000.
No, it went from 5.7 to 6.7.
Okay.
That's $1 million.
That's how it happened.
Yeah, that's crazy. We should have started construction soon.
Well-
Hindsight's 20/20, right?
We tried.
We tried, we
That's right.
So I'm gonna hold back what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So I know you're sick of me saying this, but I did not see fixing that fencing on the parking lot in front of the high school. That top bar drives me crazy. That is missing on that fencing.
And there is money in fencing. There's
Okay,
money in fencing.
so it just didn't specify
It
where.
doesn't specify, and,
Cause all it needs is the top bar. It looks like a shoddy job, like somebody went in there and didn't complete it.
and there's been questions about whether we're gonna sell that program as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I think as far
We're
as.
gonna discuss that in your superintendent's report.
Okay, yeah. As far as overflow parking, now that we'll have the old elementary school parking, we'll discuss that too.
It just, I know we're gonna have a lot of extra fencing parts maybe when we take it down. I would love to see that fixed. Even if we sell it, it'll look better when we show it. Especially if we're gonna use used fencing that we already have.
Yeah.
Just go, do y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but that is somebody
It doesn't
else's.
bother me like it does you, but I know what you're talking about.
It looks unfinished, it looks messy.
What
Well, the whole thing looks unfinished to me because it's not paved.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, we would pave that and
Lighting.
make a fence and
Drainage.
lighting, but that takes a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, you know, the whole thing looks unfinished to me and. I
Did they
can't
ever
decide
finish-
if we're gonna sell it or not.
Did they ever finish that report on the underground and tell us if it was clean or not?
No, ma'am, in fact, they just recently picked up their most recent dirt sample. And so it's still a process, they're
Yeah,
still working on it.
last week, that's right.
Okay,
Is that
because
the
we
road?
can't pave or do anything till we know that, right?
Right, I understand.
So, I was gonna say something about the paving at, the brewery in LaBelle. That would be an excellent way to pave that.
We actually did a field trip there and looked at that. Do you remember?
Yeah, we
doing that?
did.
I don't remember very well, though, I think we should go back.
We could do that today after the meeting.
Yeah, that's a
But
very.
it's cheap and it's environmentally sensitive, because you
It's-
get
It
drainage.
looks nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dr. Malay didn't get to go on that field trip.
No.
Maybe he would like to do that.
Not you, Dr. Malay.
I did notice that you put, purchase of new school buses in starting 28-29.
Yes, just in case we need to replace some of the
Glad
diesels
we
we
did
have.
that. Yes, sir.
Sure, and I meant to share this with you all, and when we did item 7.1. I've spoken with the superintendent, and I believe I maybe talked with some of you, they did, but, we are making a claim on we're working with our insurance, on our errors and omissions insurance. And that's just something you pay, every school district pays errors and omissions insurance. And the only reason where I go with that is some of the issues where we're dealing with right now with financial. I know that the board, I could say this 100%, I know the board acted in great faith, I know the superintendent acted in great faith with data you were given. And this type of insurance means that if someone else did not, or used inaccurate, we can make a claim. So some of our issues, because I know you've been wise and you've been prudent over the years, that you have the best information you have. So we're asking, and we pay a premium, it's kind of like insurance you never use, most districts never use it. But we are working with them and our attorneys, and that's kind of, from this point on, it'll be something that they're doing that body of work. But we're gonna look at how our funds, some of the errors that you base decisions on, the superintendent information they were given, that we may be able to make a claim on that policy, that's exactly what it's for. So I'm just kind of letting you know that you may hear some more on it later, but we're working on that.
Too bad we didn't have that last.
Is that?
Too bad we didn't have that in the last couple of years.
Well, and actually, you've had it, the claim we're doing will go back I'm taking it back
That's what he
to,
means.
yeah, I'm taking it back to, laying claim to back as early as 22, 23.
I
So
misunderstood.
you're making these good decisions now. I believe in good faith. I know you made good decisions then based on information you and the superintendent. That's one of trust. It's just one of trust. So, that's underway, and as we know more, you'll know more.
I have a question on that. Is it worth the claim? Because if we make a claim on something that's not massive and that we really need it, then it could interfere with future pricing and everything else.
Sure, that's a great question, and what they're doing now, they determine, our attorney kind of looks at that with that, and we look at what it could be, and look at what the cost is. Most places that use air emission never use it, honestly, it's one of those things you have just in case, so we'll make that determination.
Yeah, I just don't wanna use it if we don't absolutely need to,
Exactly.
because we might need it in the future.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
something bigger.
I've never seen, we could be looking at $2 million
Okay.
that, that's put us in this, you make decisions, so I'm just kind of put you on notice, but that, you're wise, that will be determined when we have more information.
Just don't want it to affect our,
Great.
We kind of got off track because we have a motion to approve the 5-year, 2025-2026 work plan. Was there any more discussion on that?
Yeah, there's one more thing, the impact fees that you're seeing, like what I'm seeing, that's actually from the reservation.
Oh, okay. Impact aid grant.
Yeah.
And they call it impact fees.
Correct.
It says impact fees in there. Okay. So our impact fees aren't in there.
Not yet.
Okay, thank
Any
you.
further discussion or questions? Okay, all in favor of approving? Aye. None opposed. Okay, item 8.3, approve the Florida inventory of schoolhouses, facility inventory report, and certification of facilities data. This is Mr. Progressive. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Lucky,
second.
second by Ms. Pierce. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just, the fish report's report inventory of schoolhouses. Within the fish report, we have to have all our buildings all have a number, and then what the state actually does is they come through and they look at the square footage in every single room, and they keep a record of that. The additions on this fish report are for the new transportation building and also our new elementary building.
And they removed the old
Yes.
elementary. Any other questions or discussion?
Madam Chairman, I'd just like to say both the previous report and this one look like a lot of work, and we appreciate it. Just reading through it is a lot of work, really. It's a lot of information that you've had to work in. No, I just want to note that.
Thank you.
I concur. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item 8.4, approval of a resolution authorizing the levy of a 1/2 cent school capital outlay sales surtax and calling for a referendum. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion by Ms. Pierce, second by Ms. Drake. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Okay, so we need to go back to item, 3.1. Would you like to take a 5-minute break before we do this? Is that okay with you? We're gonna take a 5-minute break and then we'll have your presentation.
Great, thank you.